Hi everybody, welcome back for another video. It's late on a Thursday night and I wanted to make sure that I got something up for you on Friday. We had education concerts today and a bunch of, all of them this week, and rehearsal Tuesday, and tomorrow, Friday, I've got a double rehearsal, Saturday double performance, Sunday performance. So I did want to get something up, but I had some misprints. I had printed one of the covers that I wanted to use, but I printed it, for some reason, my printer decided to print it in portrait instead of landscape. This is a standard size insert cover. You can print it this way. I like it when it prints it the other way, so then that way I don't have to worry about the cutoff at the top, just the sides, and then I eyeball the top and the bottom. But so I folded it this way, and I had some leftover prints. I wanted to make a new passport insert. I have this this grid back here that I want to put a new one. It's almost filled out, and I just want to put a new one in there. So I had some leftover grid inserts. These are old ones from Creffective Paper, and she does hers a way where you can fit 2 pages on the top and 2 pages on the bottom, so that way you have less waste. Oh, of course it's late, so Lila's gonna try and jump up here, but there's no room. So I have this paper. Let's see, passport insert sizes are 3.5 wide by 5 tall, and this is just over 8.25. So I can only use this cover for one standard size passport, and I might have some leftover maybe to make a those are 3 by 4. So if I cut this down to 5, now I won't, I can turn it into a bookmark or something like that. It's just, I always like to use, you know, since I did print, I love this design with all the elements that I threw in together. Since I love the design, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to use it. And then these are just leftovers that I had printed when I think I print like double. And so these are like 16 sheets, double-sided, and each has 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the back side 5, 6, 7, 8. So if there's 16, that would make one chunky insert, because it would be these 16 pages doubled. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 times 16. My mathing skills aren't very good, but that's a lot. So I think what I'll probably do, let's see, that's 4, 10, 11, 12, 8, 16, 32, maybe 64. Let's do 72. No. Let's do the 80. Is that the math correcting? And we'll save these for another insert. So let me get this out of the way. I don't need it. I was checking off my things that I did. We've got my heavy duty stapler, and for what we're doing today, we don't need that heavy duty of a, I've had this one forever. It gets glue and then everything sticks to it. I've had this one for a long time. It's a Fiskars, and it actually has a rotary blade. Here, you'll see. I've got replacements, but I've actually never needed them. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, to make sure I'm on camera, is these I'm gonna cut all together. And here are the crop lines. You can hear Lila, she's upset because I'm awake, and now you'll notice I didn't cut all the way at the bottom or the top, so that way I don't lose my crop lines. And I know it's not that exciting of a thing watching me cut paper, but I can now cut this bottom part all the way, but not all the way at the top here. And so what you'll see is we still have this here, and what I'm gonna do is rip this part off just because. And what I'm gonna do is slide this through. Oop. Still trying to hold everything together. And this way I can cut the bottom of this top part, or the top of the middle, this way. All. So there's half of what I need. Here's some waste. And then we'll do the same thing with this here at the top. Ta-da! Actually, that's not too bad, and I can clean it up if I need to. Oop. There. Now, what I need to do is I'm going to cut down this. Oh, I think she's happy. I cleaned the litter box tonight. So it's like clean, clean, clean. Let me just, there. And what I'll do is, so it needs to be 5 inches. So you gotta pull this out. 5 inches is really hard to see. It's right there. That's what, 5.5. There. And so it is a little bit too wide right now, but when we fold this and staple it, we can use the cutter again to trim it down. I did have a bone folder here, and I don't know where it went. You can use the end of a pair of scissors. Kitty was on the table, she probably got it. So I'm gonna take a couple of these. Fold them in half. And this isn't the typical way that I make inserts, but I'm just making the insert for myself. I'm using, you know, an imperfect print that didn't print well. You know, it wasn't even like a good color set. It was, you know, like just like a test print. It wasn't even the highest quality print. It was just let's just see if it prints okay. But that's usually what ends up happening is all of the things that I end up using for the year are like the ones that I was making for people, where I was doing like a test print. I'm not gonna waste, you know, a calendar or anything. I got a couple of calendars that I've printed that you know, aren't ones that I would send to someone or give to someone, but I would definitely use as like backup scratch paper or, you know, just stuff like that. And so we will have to trim this again because this is too wide, and when we're assembling these together, what will happen is the more paper you put inside, the more the center of the book will get pushed out. And so it creates like creep. And that's why when you print inserts at home, sometimes after you have assembled them, they don't really, you know, sometimes when you're trimming them, like you can see all of that scooch. I don't know, there's a name for that. For the life of me, this late at night, I can't remember what it is. That like creep forward. It's you know, bound to happen. So what we're gonna do is if you make like I do lots of inserts, and you know, 90% of the inserts that I use, like these grids or my calendars or printables, I make myself, whether they're my printables or someone else's. And this Boistitch stapler I have had, it was the second stapler I got. The first one I had was one of those long arm staplers, which are great, but this is so much better because if you watch, so I line it up at the bottom, and you can see I even have a little extra room at the top because a true passport is 4.9. It's not really 5 because the measurements don't work out too well. But you can, and I tend to use 2 staples. I basically divide it into thirds. And this really helps to make sure that when you're punching, you get it exactly in the center. And so now you can see I have a nice thick insert. And what we're gonna do is I lined it all up with the bottom. So we've got our heavy duty paper cutter. So it's got to be 3 1/2. And there's a couple ways you can do it. On this one, it's kind of difficult because 3 1/2 is in this area here, right? So that's 3 1/4. It's somewhere in here. So what I sometimes will do is pull out an insert here. We'll just take this one here because it's actually a Traveler's insert. See, it's actually it's a Midori insert. This is one of the sketch inserts. I bought a lot of these before they switched their branding over to Traveler's Company. And so what I will do is line them up and that didn't do very well. I'll be right back. I'm actually going to get my big chomper of a paper cutter out. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. It was just too complicated to get the camera and everything over there. I remember the last time I tried to film something there, a year or so ago, it was challenging because of angles and everything. So, here we are. And this is just because I like to finish the edge a little bit. What I also like to do, here, let me get this paper trimmer out of the way. I tend to like to round my corners. I've had this Kadimaru trimmer. It's for large, medium, and small corners. I tend to use the medium one because it looks like this corner here. We'll do a little example. Let's see. How nice that looks. And you can usually do 2 or 3 pages of paper depending on the thickness, but you can see here how nice this insert looks. So let's oops. And it's just this is just a simple little grid insert that I like to make just for notes, for, I use it for grocery shopping, stuff like that. Anyways, so there's that. Ta-da! I don't think you need to see me do all of the corners. I mean, if you want to, you can. Yeah, I got that. And you can see I just do like 3 pages at a time with this paper corner rounder. There's lots of different brands of these. There's like Crocodile makes one. I have it. It's very industrial and it does a great job. I like this one just because it's a little bit more manageable. The Crocodile from We Are Memory Keepers is kind of like, oh, I don't know how to say. It's like, kind of like more industrial, if that makes any sense. But one of the reasons why I like rounding the corners is you can see it, like when I originally cut this, I cut it maybe a little too, or like the papers weren't really lined up 100% of the way. And so what this does is it kind of takes those little imperfections away and makes it, to the eye, look a little bit more, just a little bit more perfect, or imperfectly perfect, if that makes sense. And a lot of it has to do with the, towards the center, how the page starts to creep a little. And so towards the end, the center, there'll be less border around these outside pages than there are towards the beginning and the end of the insert. And that's just because of this type of simple binding that it is. If you had printed a grid where it covers the entire page, you would even notice with that, or if you had like a dot grid that you printed, you would notice that it would do that as well. Let's see, there's a couple of pages left since I thought I'd just leave it all in. And it's not that, it doesn't take that long. I think, the more inserts you make, the, there you go, the better you get at it. I mean, I've been making inserts, since 2013, and I mean, this one was all made with completely imperfectly printed things, so I know it wasn't going to turn out to be like a perfect insert. But let me get my paper clip out of this one. This was one of the covers from last year. I can't remember. Maybe June, July? Can't remember. But this one's a little bit longer of an insert. It's got quite a lot of pages, so it will last me a long time. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put that in there, and so you'll see we have a monthly insert, a weekly insert. Let me take that out. A zipper pouch with a sketchbook insert, zipper pouch, and the new insert that we just made that looks really great in there. And some AAA card and a Starbucks card. So I know it's not a typical art video, but since so many of you do get the digitals, and I know some of you use them in different ways, I thought I would show you a way where I take an imperfect print and turn it into something that can be a little bit more functional. Now, what I can use this for is I'm going to cut off the white border. Cut it off right there. And how wide is this? Let's see. A little over 3 1/4 inches. So What if I was to cut it in half-ish? Now, in my Lady Falcon Traveler, I have these bookmarks that are that go through the same holes that the elastics go through at the top. That's one thing that Monique is known for, is her beautiful charms and her leather leaf that has your name or whatever you want on it. Something though that I sometimes do is I will take these, let me do these as well. Doing 2 of these is a little bit harder because it's cardstock, so it's a little bit thicker paper. I want to say it's like 90 GSM. You can turn these into bookmarks. Like here we are in my weekly. And see how I have this bookmark here, and we're on this week here, but if I wanted to, let's see, which do I like best? Ooh, that's interesting. Actually, I like the red here because it kind of looks like cherry blossoms, but I love seeing the Chinese characters, which is also Japanese kanji as well, because that's Japanese. Let's use this one. What I would do is, here, let me pull this out. What you could do is find out where the staples are. Oh, it's not, it's too wide. Here, let's trim a little bit off of this. There, we'll take this one here. And see, I've got the staples here, and this will fit in the center. And if you just had some like leftover scraps like this, we'll put this back on the elastic. And if you want like a little, say you didn't have this bookmark, we'll just put it back there, and you wanted to find out where you were in your weekly, there's your monthly insert, there's your weekly, and here's your tab, here's the week where we are. And it's just a scrap piece of cardstock. I've, in the past, I have laminated them, you know, like leftover laminate strips and pieces, because, you know, you're not using that much. But that way, you know, you get to use the beautiful cover that you have here in your week. And then when you go on to the next week, you just pull this out and slide it in under here. And it's a great bookmark to have. I like Monique's because she does have these bookmarks as well, but this just kind of adds, you know, some fun decorative thing to it where you're not wasting any paper. So there we are. That is all I have to share today. Got some writing boards and blotting paper. My old insert that's finished. And I've got some more scraps still. So there we are. What I will do is I will link down below the tools that I used, the Fiskars cutter, the corner rounder, the stapler. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And the links, I'll see if I can find all of those links for those on Amazon. I think that's where I've got them, but I mean, like, I've had this since 2014 or 2015. The Fiskars cutter I've had since before 2013. The stapler I've had since maybe 2015. They're just random scissors, but yeah. So I will try to link those if I can, if they're still available, and I will see you in the next video.